Hey guys, what's going on? This is RJ Game News USA here, back today with another video. And today we're going to go over the review scores for Drag X Drive. So again, I apologize for the inconsistency in uploads. Been a hectic time for me. But let's jump into it. Hit like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And we got to talk about this game. First of all, it's really kind of dumb to release the same day as Madden. I was skeptical of this game from the beginning, and the Metacritic really shows a 63. Look, guys, I don't think the mouse controls are going to take off like people think they are. Anyway, we got 7 positive reviews, 37 mixed, and 2 negative. Let's go over some of these, shall we? The top score was from Nintenderos with an 80. Saying Drag X Drive for the Switch 2 is one of those games that proves there is still room for innovation in sports games. Its original control scheme using Joy-Con 2 mouse mode, it's a mix of basketball and vehicles, and it's a challenging yet fun multiplayer mode. Yeah, I think that it's attempting to do something similar to Rocket League, but just quite not hitting the mark. Hobby Consoles with a 78. Drag X Drive's control scheme and gameplay concept are solid, and they work really well. Nevertheless, we have our doubts and the game's appeal in the long run. We want more environments, tournaments, and local multiplayer. And yes, that's one thing that could save this game, is just adding a lot of content to it. Just throw a bunch of content on. Video Chums with a 76. Says, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Drag X Drive, but it certainly isn't for everyone. With its unique and tactile controls and gameplay that's great and fun to master. I wish there was more to it, really, and really flesh out its clever concept. So again, we're seeing a little bit of complaints about content, despite this being the positive section of the review scores. Then we have Area Jungus with a 75, saying Drag X Drive is another one of those crazy Nintendo bets that works really well and becomes fun as you understand and overcome its difficulty curve. A bold and inclusive and above all innovative gamble. So they think it worked out. We're moving on to the mixed section now. Games.ch with a 74. Saying the idea for Drag X Drive is clearly inspired by Rocket League. Nintendo makes a unique and entertaining sports game out of it that delivers a neat use of mouse and motion controls of the Joy-Con 2. But although it's much more than a clone, the game clearly is not as good. It's sort of a clone, but it's different with the mouse controls. Digital Trends with a 70. Drag X Drive feels like an excellent prototype more than a full package. The control scheme proves to be more than just a gimmick and makes the act of moving engaging, combined with a twist that playing basketball in wheelchairs has on a familiar sport. We got a bunch of 70s here, but we scrolled down to Player 2 with a 67, saying Drag X Drive delivers some engaging gameplay and fun gameplay options, but technical concerns dampen the excitement. So a little bit of technical concerns here. Destructoid with a 65 says Drag X Drive is a decent showcase for the unique capabilities of the Nintendo Switch 2's Joy-Con mouse, but frustrating controls and shallow gameplay leave a lot to be desired outside of its cheapish price tag. And I think clearly it needed a cheap price tag. And we got COG Connected with a 64, saying Drag X Drive packs in plenty of interesting ideas, but they never quite merge into a compelling esports experience. The mouse and motion controls are impressive in isolation, yet in the chaos of high-speed competitive play, they become more of a source of frustration. I think that review hits the nail on the head right there. I think the idea of this game looks great, looks fun, looks innovative, but then in actual practice, it would just be frustrating in a lot of ways. I think that hits the nail on the head. How about a 63 from Washington Post, which is the same as the Metacritic score overall, saying if you have the friends to play this, along with the required vigor in your arms, go ahead and maybe add another half star or more to this review. It's a decent price for what could be a good time. It's a creative, good faith effort of a fun concept, but won't be a good fit for everyone. Yeah, clearly that's true. In any multiplayer game, when you have friends, they're just better. They just are. Shaq News with a 60, saying, unfortunately, Drag X Drive just doesn't deliver the joy and excitement that I expect from a game delivered by Nintendo. IGN with a 60 as well, saying, with the proper setup, Nintendo's take on wheelchair basketball is a lot of fun and controls surprisingly well, but Drag X Drive sadly lacks enough content, variety, and personality to build around those fundamentals. I will also add, I think this game would have been better had it been built around existing Nintendo characters instead of just plain bland-ass robots. Like, maybe that worked for ARMS, but it clearly didn't work for this. I don't know if this is their ARMS attempt or this is their Splatoon attempt, but I still think it would have been better built around existing Nintendo characters, obviously. I mean, why not? Nintendo should milk their IPs, right? But they probably looked at this game and said, we can't back our own guys on this. A bunch of 60s here, but a 55 from WCC Fetch, saying Drag X Drive delivers some moments of frantic multiplayer fun, but an inflexible and physically demanding control scheme, lack of personality, and dearth of content severely limits the game's long-term appeal. Yeah, so I mean, if you have a fun afternoon with it, but after that, you're just repeating the same process over and over again. I've seen plenty of games like that. Also, the controls being as physically demanding as they are. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Same thing with virtual reality. I do not want to come home from work or a job and have to work hard at playing a game. I want to sit down with my controller and have a good time. It's great that we have innovative things. It's great we have different things to exist. But that's just my personal preference, and that's most people's personal preference. So, video game companies need to realize that. We got a bunch of 55s, but we have a 50 from Games Radar Plus saying Drag X Drive makes a solid case for the Nintendo Switch 2's mouse control scheme, but it fails to make one of these wheelchair basketball matches themselves. Elegant steering doesn't mesh well with competitively impressive and messy tackling and shooting systems. Yeah, that would seem a little mumbled there. I actually think the best use of mouse controls might be Metroid Prime 4 when it comes out. Just for aim and point. A bunch of 50s here. Let's get to the two negatives. 48's the bottom. A 48 from Game 8 saying a clever control scheme and flashes of competitive brilliance can't hide the fact that the rest of Drag X Drive is running on fumes. The basketball matches are fun, but they're weighed down by awkward hardware ergonomics, lopsided AI, and a hub world that just isn't for me. Power Unlimited with a 48 says Drag X Drive originated from a fun idea, but its execution falls flat. Online matches are rarely exciting, while the game frequently frustrates due to flawed controls. A shame considering the wheelchair basketball concept is well conceived. And that's it, guys. That is what the reviewers are saying about Drag X Drive. Are you going to pick this game up? Are you going to give it a try? I would actually be interested to pick it up and try it if I knew anybody else that would. But anyway, guys, I will see you all later. RJ signing out. Have a good one.